This one is not really up for debate. Parking like this on any level is wrong. So I was tagged on Twitter with the following message. Mum has new neighbours in the UK who park their van like this. What are the legalities of vehicles parking across the pavement? Appreciate any response. So as you can see, this is a long wheelbase transit van which is parked definitively across 95% of the pavement. Now looking closely at the photograph, it looks like the divide is pretty much where this bin is in the corner and near enough where the wheels are. Now as it happens, I've had to deal with a case pretty similar to this, and after a few polite requests of the neighbour to move the van, nothing really happened. They just didn't move the van, they didn't think they were doing anything wrong. But also if we look at the pavement here, you can see that there is no dropped curb in front of this driveway. So it's not entirely clear that that is a driveway at all, but nonetheless there are several other bits of law that might be helpful in this situation. And in the case that I was involved with, I was in touch with the local authorities and they sent police community support officers out to have a friendly chat with the person who owned the van and said, if it isn't moved and you don't stop parking here, then further actions will be taken and the vehicle might be impounded. After a couple of chats, that did actually stop this kind of parking. And in that case, there were several bits of law that were useful and were quoted. Not that this video is legal advice, but these were all helpful. In the Highways Act of 1835, section 72, it's an offence to willfully ride or drive on the footway. That's just the footpath, even though the driving may only last a few seconds, and that little bit was decided in McArthur and Jack in 1950. There is also section 28 of the Town Police Clauses Act of 1847, which makes it an offence to cause an obstruction, annoyance and a danger in the street. There is also section 137 of the Highways Act of 1980, which covers the willful obstruction of free passage of a highway. Further, there is regulation 103 of the Road Vehicles Construction and Use Regulations of 1986, which is causing or permitting a motor vehicle or a trailer to stand on a road so as to cause any unnecessary obstruction of the road. Now, the road, broadly defined as the highway, does include the footpath because it encompasses the whole of the actual road and the footpath. It is all considered to be the highway. And primarily, when looking at parking offences themselves, unless there is a specific parking restriction, then there's no parking offence. So you have to generally fall back on causing an obstruction or driving over footways and having the intention to park and so on. And it was emphasised in the case of Wade and Grange of 1977 that what amounts to an obstruction is a question of fact. And so when looking at any given case, it is a very simple assessment of fact. Is this vehicle causing an obstruction? And in this case, yes, because the van is parked and completely blocking the footpath so that nobody can pass on it. Moreover, if this is happening in London, pavement parking is banned under section 15 of the Greater London Council General Powers Act of 1974. This is defined as when a vehicle has one or more of its wheels resting on any footway, or any land not being a footway which is situated between two carriageways and any such road, so it covers anything between the roads, or any grass verge, garden or space not falling within the foregoing paragraphs. And there are fines attached to this. Moreover, section 19 of the Road Traffic Act 1988 deals with vehicles exceeding 7.5 tonnes, which are prohibited from parking on verges, footpaths or the central reservations of roads. And again, there are fines attached under section 19. This is a £1,000 fine, which is level 3 on the standard scale. So as I said at the outset, this isn't really up for debate. Parking like this is wrong. There are several pieces of legislation that make this wrong, and I would suggest going to the local authority and insisting that they at the very, very least send out a police community support officer to speak with the owner of the vehicle, the keeper of the vehicle, to encourage them to park it elsewhere. But obviously if they park it on the road, they will argue that that would be causing an obstruction, but frankly that's their problem. If they have this vehicle, they need to be parking it somewhere that it's not causing an obstruction. If it were parked on the road, say, it wouldn't necessarily be a parking offence if there are no parking restrictions on that road, but it could still amount to obstruction if it blocks any other vehicles coming down this road. So frankly, if the road is too narrow for this vehicle to park there without causing an obstruction, then it shouldn't be parked there. But it certainly shouldn't be parked in the way that it is on this photograph because it's completely blocking the footpath and nobody can get past it. So in these situations, if a friendly chat doesn't cut it and doesn't change the situation, I wouldn't be taking the law into your own hands. I would approach the local authority or the police directly to have them send somebody out to have a friendly chat to ask them to move the vehicle, because clearly this is going to be causing lots of problems for lots of people. So I hope that's useful. As always, this cannot be taken as legal advice, just setting out the law as it stands in cases that I've dealt with and what the law says in these situations. If this is at all useful to you or you've got your own questions, please do like the video and subscribe. I really appreciate that. We are just about to hit 250,000 subscribers. As of this morning and at the time of recording, we are fewer than 100 subscribers to hit 250,000, 250,000. So thank you all for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.